think over the next year, I'm just going to get a really unique opportunity, and it's a weighted opportunity too, to be a spokesperson for the LMA and pass their message on of what they're working on. And they're working on a lot of things. If you go on the website, there's lists and lists of what they're doing. But the LMA is special in the sense that they're one of the only groups that are taking action. They go out and they do something, and you don't hear them posting stuff. You don't hear them complaining. They go out and they get to work, and they get people behind them, and they get stuff done. So, I can help with that however they want me to, but I think my main job is just go around. They have nearly 800 member markets across the country, and just go around and be able to share what the LMA is doing, some of their progressions, and some of the new developments that they're making. This Common Ground Summit's a big deal. They were just in Nashville. They're going down to Fort Worth here at the end of the month, and that's a huge deal. And there's a lot of stuff coming out of that. So just if I can translate that to some of these barn owners, and then some of the producers across the world or across the countryside as well, I will have done my job. And I also, I've said I want to do it. I don't know how successful I'll be. I'm going to try. Be able to maybe speak at some high schools and create some enthusiasm in this younger generation, or my generation even, about some of the opportunities in the beef industry and the marketing industry, and kind of get people excited about it, and people maybe bridge the gap from older people, yourself included, and older people, and kind of bridge the gap, between that generation and the younger generation coming up. I'm just joking with you.
Hey, y'all remember that auctioneer from Billings that used to work for us? What was his name?
That's a head-on. We live it. The Live Ag podcast. From seed stock bull sales built on generations of performance to commercial video auctions backed by real relationships to equipment auctions that keep operations moving forward. LiveAg connects cattle producers to opportunity. Quality cattle deserve premium prices. The right bulls deserve more buyers, and dependable equipment deserves a fair bid. Whether you're consigning to a LiveAg video auction, marketing seed stock, or moving iron through the equipment exchange, we combine local representation with nationwide reach. Connect with your LiveAg rep by scanning the code on your screen, or visit us online at live-ag.com. We are proud to be powered by Biozyme, the makers of VitaFirm and Gain Smart. Value-added nutrition partners trusted by cattle producers across the country. Now, here are your hosts, deCordova and Casey Mabry.
It's Buffalo Bills.
All right, everybody. These two can't do it, and they're the podcast hosts. Welcome to Cody, Wyoming, to the Buffalo Bills, center of the Wild West, for the Live Ag sale here in this August. I'm Jace Thompson, your host. Today we have deCordova joining us on the We Live It podcast. And
Is that written on the wall somewhere? How come you couldn't get it
I
right?
think we're going with this. Yeah, like Jay said, welcome back to the We Live It podcast. You are recording this, aren't you? Good. Perfect. Jace did an awesome introduction because Ty could not get the name of the building correct. So as y'all can see, Jace Thompson, current world champion, Livestock Market Auctioneer, is joining us today. And Wade Leist is co-host or past, future, present.
Well, both
Yeah.
co-host and a 2024 champion. Jace, you feeling all right? You don't sound too good today.
why did you not engrave my name in my microphone like yours?
Because when I got this microphone, you were still in middle school.
Okay, let's stop right here. Let's go on to the program, guys. So you're gonna argue. Now, welcome, Jace. Thank you for joining us. We just kind of want to talk through a few things of the kind of what the World Championship means to you. You got a long family history in the business. Your grandpa, your dad's a past world. I think you're the only father-son duo to win world championships. He was a champion in 2009. So in growing up in Montana and in that industry there, it's got to mean something. Kind of walk us through that. What's that look like? I mean,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been kind of, I've went through the story a million times since I've won it, but it is a cool story. My grandpa started from absolutely nothing and worked his way up. He had some really good mentors that got him into the business. My grandpa's pretty gritty man. He did all the hard work to build up a pretty good cattle marketing business. He owned the barn there in Riverton, and then worked at some barns across Wyoming as he was growing up. And then my dad kind of knew what he wanted to do, followed in his footsteps, and as his successes grew, he ended up moving up to Billings. and kind of followed, put his own twist on it, but followed in my grandpa's footsteps, and did the same thing with a cattle marketing business and working with Pat Goggins there at both barns and Billings, auctioneering. Like you said, he won the world championship in 2009, which in my mind is a long time ago. But he did win the world championship in 2009. And since then, he's kind of shifted more into the cattle brokerage side, cattle feeding, cattle trading, and kind of pulled back on the auctioneering a touch, but seen a lot of success in his cattle marketing business. And I was fortunate enough to grow up there around Billings. My dad was always, he demanded greatness. Whatever I was going to do, he made me do it right. And that's kind of been the philosophy for my grandpa and my dad, if you're going to do it right. And so growing up, I got into the cattle side of things and then slowly kind of worked my way into the auctioneering side. And that kind of took hold. And about 5-6 years ago, I took it serious, and it was kind of a snowball effect from there.
Your grandpa's name is Warren. Am I correct? Yeah, we keep referencing grandpa, but I'm not sure everybody would understand that's Warren Thompson, and he is an icon in the industry, and certainly somebody that I know that was a great mentor for you. Oh, yeah. I have met him, and I haven't forgot him. One of the things I was interested to ask you about was, were you there when your dad won the Worlds, and do you remember that? What was that like?
Yeah, I remember bits and pieces. I never really understood the weight of it. I was young.
I was going to say, was you like 4?
Yeah, I was still playing with monster
I
trucks.
mean, yeah, you had still had your toy dolls. And
I didn't
stuff.
really understand the weight of it, but from when my dad won till I guess when I won, I was able to go, I saw you at some of the contests all growing up. And, that's what made it so special when I was able to hear my name on the other side of that. Because, you've been to so many of those conventions and it just builds weight. And it kind of became, I didn't even realize it until after I won it, but it kind of became like that was the most special thing. Like to hear your name on the other side of that, you realize how much weight that has behind it and some of the people that you're joining a list of and how talented they are and how much respect you have built for them over the years.
Yeah, it's a pretty esteemed list there. The guys you get to stand up there with, and to think that you're sitting in a town that's got 2 of them, and you worked under 2 of them your whole life, just to see that them guys to be your mentors with your dad and with the Goggins family and all that going forward, and your grandpa. That's just a neat to be able to see. So
Who's the other one besides Ty? You said in a town that had 2.
didn't Joe win it?
No, I think Joe was
You're going to get me in trouble.
Yeah, I think Joe was reserve champion maybe one year. Is that right?
Yeah, he competed.
I always thought he was. I'm being serious. I always thought he was one of the greats. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to get you in trouble. I'm not trying to get you in trouble.
He's a heck of a good auctioneer, and I think he did have some successes competing. But his purebred deal, kind of he sells a lot of purebred sales, and then like I said, he's got more to do than anybody could ever imagine. So his business kind of took him away from I think the competition side of things.
Yeah, no, he's a great people. They're great people to grow up under is what I was getting at. So
I was kind of picking on you there a little bit, but I've actually said for years that joining the list of world champions is really elite, but that competition is one day. It's not always a reflection of who the best auctioneer is. It was just who had the best day that day. If you look through history at the list of world champions, and right next to it you put a list of icons who've never made it, that list is pretty well intertwining. And Joe is certainly on that list. He's a world champion that has never received the buckle, basically.
When it comes to selling cattle, performance matters. That's why Biozyme Incorporated and LiveAg have partnered to bring more value to beef producers across the country. Cattle-fed VitaFerm and GainSmart products are backed by proven nutrition programs designed to support reproductive efficiency, feed efficiency, and overall herd performance. And now, through LiveAg's nationwide video auction platform, those nutrition-backed cattle are positioned in front of buyers who recognize the value of a documented premium feeding program. This partnership connects what happens in your pasture with what happens at sale time. Better nutrition, better documentation, increased market exposure. Talk to your Biozyme or your LiveAg rep, or visit your local dealer to learn how VitaFerm and GainSmart, paired with LiveAg marketing, can help your cattle stand out when it matters most.
you brought somebody with you today. What has her role been in all this? And your mom's with you today. You want to talk a little bit about what that looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. She's somebody that gets. I said it on like the last podcast I was at, and I tried to say it in
Hold
my
up, you've been on
acceptance
other
speech.
podcasts?
Yeah.
What's the deal about that?
Well, that one that gets a bunch of
Oh,
views.
my
Yeah.
bad. Okay.
Anyways, but no, I tried to say
You
it
were
in my
on Joe Rogan?
I tried to say it in my acceptance speech, and I was bawling my eyes out, and I didn't really get it out right. But my mom kind of bridged the gap. My dad was a real iron fist, and didn't always relay his message in the right way, and we fought and butt heads. But she was kind of the translator for that, and then she taught me a lot too about handling people, dealing with emotions, dealing with psychology, and she was really really instrumental in me just progressing through, like I said, like just handling emotions, handling life, handling people. And there's a lot of times she talked me off the ledge, when I wanted to go leave and do something else, and I was pissed off, and she kind of convinced me that I had talent, and I should give it a real effort and stick in there. And I give her credit for a lot of times that happened.
If you were to have jumped off the ledge and gone and done something else, what would it have been? Racing motorcycles?
I thought I could race motorcycles, but I figured out real quick that doesn't make very much money.
Now, just on the outside looking in at the on the World Championship Auctioneer deal, that I don't know if I ever told you this, but when we was looking at auctioneers for the company, there's a couple of guys had mentioned your name, and I'd never heard you, never even met you, but I knew your dad, and I thought a lot of your dad, and I still do think a lot of your dad. He's a great man, and but we met that night in Billings, Montana, and talked it over, and we hired you that night at the Jake's restaurant or wherever we was at, and you looked across the table at me and you said, "Well, you ain't never heard me sell. How do you know you want me to sell for you?" As humble as you were that day, and to find out how old you were, that shocked me. I mean, I did 22. You was 21 when we met, and to carry yourself the way you carried yourself, and the humility you have. And I'm not saying this in a bad thing, and there's going to be a lot of auctioneers probably shoot shots at me, but you don't find a whole lot of humble auctioneers. They're all pretty proud of themselves, which they can do that. They're good at what they do. But to see that in you, and to see you be able to keep that throughout winning this deal, and keep your humility, and watch you steadily progress, because you're nothing but getting better. And I just wanted to give you that compliment, that just keep that head on you and keep doing what you're doing there, because it's working and a lot of people are noticing.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I think that's the first compliment you've ever given me. But I will say, in addition to that, I think that there's two things. One is, goes back to my grandpa, my dad. They were hard on me about, check yourself, especially when you're young. I mean, I'm still young. I'm not saying I'm out of the woods, and I won't be for a while, but they're really hard on me. Like, this business, especially until you get some gray hair, you have to check yourself. And I was bad about it, and I still, I mean, I'm sure you guys all know, it's hard to, especially when you start feeling like you get some momentum, it's hard to check yourself and say, hey, I gotta watch it a little bit. And it's so important. And I think as you practice that, it gets you some respect in a young age, and in kind of a backhanded way, or maybe not backhanded, but you know what I'm saying, a secondary way. And then also, I think I was able to see a lot of people that didn't practice that, through my travels, and I was able to be in a lot of different operations growing up and see a lot of different auctioneers and different people, and I kind of got an idea of what it looked like from the outside looking in, and I was like, I don't want to practice that. I don't want to be like that.
Sometimes it feels, there's a lot of pressure when your mentor is standing behind you and poking you or pushing you, or maybe telling you what you did wrong and never telling you what you did right. But truly, that comes from them understanding the importance of our role in this industry. And also, I got, when I won, my first stop was in Billings to sell a video sale there. And I remember watching your dad and you interact as you were working, and thinking, man, that kid's really special. He really knows what he's doing, but his dad is still, got his thumb on him. And I realized then it was because he knew how much talent you have. He knew how special you were in this industry, and but also knew that there's a lot of things that can happen. He's been around for a long time. Your grandpa's been around and seen a lot of different things, and so understanding not only your role, but all of the ups and downs that this industry can have. We've been on an uphill swing for a number of years here, and they knew, and I'm sure they've told you that it ain't always going to be that way. It won't always be, bright, easy days where we feel like the hero.
Well, Jace, I know I don't always give you a lot of compliments, but we did hire you. I mean, that had to be one compliment. So talk a little bit more about what the World Championship comes with, like your duties and what you're fixing to do. You're going to be traveling the country, kind of being a voice person for LMA and for the organization, and then going to doing some what they call them, the
Appearances.
Yeah, I don't know why they call them appearances, because y'all guys need a lot of makeup if y'all gonna be doing appearances. But anyways, those appearances y'all do and the sales y'all go to, kind of what's that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I got one here on Friday. I'm going to Virginia for one, but I think over the next year, I'm just going to get a really unique opportunity, and it's a weighted opportunity too, to be a spokesperson for the LMA and pass their message on of what they're working on. And they're working on a lot of things. If you go on the website, there's lists and lists of what they're doing. But the LMA is special in the sense that they're one of the only groups that are taking action. They go out and they do something, and you don't hear them posting stuff. You don't hear them complaining. They go out and they get to work, and they get people behind them, and they get stuff done. So, I can help with that however they want me to, but I think my main job is just go around. They have nearly 800 member markets across the country, and just go around and be able to share what the LMA is doing, some of their progressions, and some of the new developments that they're making. This Common Ground Summit's a big deal. They were just in Nashville. They're going down to Fort Worth here at the end of the month, and that's a huge deal. And there's a lot of stuff coming out of that. So just if I can translate that to some of these barn owners, and then some of the producers across the world or across the countryside as well, I will have done my job. And I also, I've said I want to do it. I don't know how successful I'll be. I'm going to try. Be able to maybe speak at some high schools and create some enthusiasm in this younger generation, or my generation even, about some of the opportunities in the beef industry and the marketing industry, and kind of get people excited about it, and people maybe bridge the gap from older people, yourself included, and older people, and kind of bridge the gap, between that generation and the younger generation coming up. I'm just joking with you.
Hey, y'all remember that auctioneer from Billings that used to work for us? What was his name?
Mark your calendar for the Rhodes Ranch Annual Production Sale, September 5th in Cambria, California. This year's offering features 100 spring and fall-born Angus bulls, developed in steep country and ready to go to work, along with a select group of performance horses. Join the Rhodes family Saturday, September 5th at 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Can't make it to the ranch? Register to bid remotely at bid.live-ag.com. Rhodes Ranch. Angus genetics built to perform.
Yeah, everybody calls him Ty, but I think it was Jace. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Everybody gets that wrong. You talked about the responsibilities coming up, and you're just getting started. This year is going to fly by from you. I'll tell you from experience. I won't be the only person that ever told you that this year is going to fly by, and before you know it, you're going to be preparing to come back in June and hand this title back off to somebody else. During the next 10 months, as you prepare and move towards that, what's maybe like you're really high on the list that you want to do in the next year? Maybe it's an appearance, maybe it's a location you want to go to, or maybe it's something you want to accomplish in that time.
Yeah, I think my last answer covered it in a sense. I think I'm going to attend the Common Ground Summit here in Fort Worth at the end of the month. That's big. I want to be able to kind of sit in on one of those and really be hands on and see what these guys are doing, and some of the ideas that are getting thought of and brought to the table there at the Common Ground Summit. But I think the biggest thing would be if I feel like I made an impact on this younger generation, and got, even if I get 5 people that go out and get involved in the business, I think I've done my job. I think that's probably my biggest goal. I'm not saying I'm going to change the world or change the industry, but I think I have a platform that maybe is unique in that sense, and then my age too, I can communicate with that younger generation better. So that would be, I think, if I could get some guys interested in the business that are in this younger generation, and then also attend that Common Ground Summit, would be probably the 2 big ones.
How many years did you do the contest? Was it 3? Just 3? That's pretty remarkable. It's a pretty short list of people. Number one, people who are under 25 years old who won it. I think I was 44 or 45. I didn't realize until later I was actually one of the oldest to ever win it. But it's a pretty short list of of guys who have gone into that contest and won it in less than 3 tries. What was different this year that propelled you over the edge?
That's tough. I wanted to win this, and I knew I wanted to win it. And in the last year, I put a lot of work into trying to get my interview better, and then I still bombed the interview. But I put a lot of time into trying to get that interview better. And expanding my knowledge to where I was comfortable with what I was talking about. And that interview portion is better than anybody. It's the most unique part of that WLAC because it adds a whole nother twist on this auctioneering deal. And then also, I turned my auctioneering up in my everyday work, and I just tried to perform like I would in a contest. And then in the contest, I tried to perform like it was my everyday job, and that worked out really good for me. I didn't feel the nerves near as much. Obviously, they're there, but it wasn't near as dramatic as years past. And I think, if maybe there's some fellow competitors or some future competitors watching this, and even though it was 3 years, I mean, you knew it because you went for a fair amount of time. But each contest,
I think he means more than 3.
Yeah, more
I
than
think
3.
that was a dig, but I'm just going.
But each contest, you learn something that you never would have paid attention to in the everyday work, and something that if you're just selling at the barn every day, you never would be able to reflect on that. Whether it's a judge's comment or going back and watching your run or a mistake you made that it's like, oh, I didn't even know that. So I think over the last 3 years, I've done enough of these contests where I was able to kind of reflect and take notes and refine my craft a little bit. So
I think that's excellent advice. If there is another competitive auctioneer out there that has aspirations of being a world champion or just entering a contest and getting better, I think that's excellent advice for them, that you took that to your everyday work and said, I'm going to do things today to elevate what I do so that when I get in a contest, I'm not trying to be something I haven't been practicing, or I'm not trying to be something that you're not trying to reach a gear that you haven't been in. And I think that's one of the most important things of our contest, and whether it's the livestock one or any other auction contest, is that the score sheet is designed to grade you on the things that are important in our job. And if you look at a score sheet objectively and you say, well, they scored me down here, up here, it doesn't mean you don't have to work on that. There's more points to gain there. But across the board, if you're working on each one of those facets, you're just going to inherently be better at your job. And that's what I found. So it's nice to hear you say that and give that advice to other competitors. I just had to do it in my everyday job for 9 years instead of 3 until it finally started clicking.
Oh, I thought it took 11, but nine's
No, it's
nine's
9.
fine. Nine's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge. I mean, I don't know if I even really knew you when we went to Torrington. I think we met in Torrington, honest, or no, we met in Indiana.
We'd met before that,
and then we really got to know each other in Torrington, and it just progressed. But when I went to Torrington, I was like, I honestly, I mean, to be 100% transparent, I thought the contests were dumb. Like I thought they were just for show. And after I did Torrington, I realized like I got tied up on a certain spot, and I'm like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing in some of this stuff. And then you go to another contest, and it really puts the spotlight on you to where you can refine your craft. And then aside from that, I met so many people in just a few years I went, and I'm still going to go to some, but you meet so many people and you make connections in the industry, whether it's direct connections or, indirect, you meet so many people and it opens up so many doors for you too. So
that what are you speaking with Torrington? There was a qualifier there. I think that was in the fall of 23. It was a huge qualifier. Who won that one?
I think didn't Dean win it?
No.
Oh,
Anyways. So is there anybody out there that you want to say thank you to that helped you get here, that helped mold you where you're at?
Oh, I mean, I didn't want to write an acceptance speech because I felt like that was maybe putting the cart in front of the horse. But I thought about if I did win it, what would I say? And it was just like hours of thank yous. I mean, there's so many people. I talk about having a mentor and how important it is, and I've had so many people that have helped me, and there's so many people that have taken a chance on me and given me an opportunity. There's literally hundreds of them, and it's been a collective effort, and all that has added up, and hopefully I haven't let them down too bad.
Well, that's good. Well, thank you for joining us there was some other stuff we were going to do and just kind of visit about some other things, but I think I will just kind of move on here.
I read that script and I think I'll pass.
Oh, okay. So, well, thanks for joining us once again. Congratulations, proud of you, doing an awesome job. Keep it up. Keep the humility. Keep it going. You're on a great path. You got great things ahead of you. So, and don't forget us little people when you do get up there and be gone. So don't just kind of leave us in the wind. At least give us a heads up, you know. So, thanks everybody for joining us. On the We Live It podcast, remember to hit subscribe and like. If you want to join us or do any marketing with us, hit up Gene, that's with a J, Gene at live-ag.com, or Keith, that's with a K, at Keith at live-ag.com. So hit subscribe, like, and like always, God bless.